The introduction of AIFMD created a certain amount of uncertainty, and that's never good for capital raising or for offshore centres generally. But as the AIFMD has been implemented, it's become clear that Jersey has a real role to play. And as the individual European countries have clarified their national private placement regimes, and as fund managers have had to test the waters and get used to those regimes so that it's not so new now. There's a well-trodden path into each of the different European countries, and there's a sense now of how hard or how easy it is in individual countries to raise capital. That uncertainty is starting to fall away, and the knowledge that the passport will be available in the future provides for future proofing. So I think that the position now is an awful lot clearer than it was when AIFMD was first talked about. And AIFMD has been implemented through a series of levels. There's the directive itself, then there's the level 2 regulations, and there's what we call level 3, which is the guidance. And as that has become more clear, Jersey's position and the opportunities for people to establish in Jersey and the advantages of Jersey has also become more clear.
Well, I think what Jersey's done in advance of AIFMD implementation to put itself in a good position from an AIFMD perspective is this dual approach that they've adopted in terms of allowing people to have the option of effectively acting as though they were fully AIFMD compliant. And I don't think from a practical perspective many fund managers will go down that route until much later in the process. But what I think it's probably done is shown European regulators that Jersey is serious about AIFMD and trying to implement a system that sort of respects AIFMD principles. Because obviously part of the AIFMD process is not just a process which is at the individual fund manager level, but it's at regulator level as well. So there's a requirement for cooperation agreements to be in place, for example, between the Jersey regulator and the regulators of every European jurisdiction. And so I think Jersey's views around AIFMD mean that, you know, it's much easier, I think, for them to put in place those sorts of cooperation agreements with other regulators and to have ongoing dialogue with other European regulators.
I think there'll be significant political pressure for third countries to be able to access the passporting, European passporting, quite early. So I expect the third country access to passporting to come in September 2015 or very soon afterwards. And I think there will still be a place, particularly for managers who access both European and non-European markets, to have access to that passport for Europe. But national private placement regimes are here to stay, at least until 2018, and maybe well beyond that. So the advantage of being in Jersey is that there'll be a dual regime, access to the passport, but if you want to avoid full compliance, then national private placement regimes will still be available.